thing took, you know, like 2-3 hours. I mean, the whole thing, like the surgery itself was like, I don't know, half an hour or something like that. And this guy is an older guy who had a younger assistant, but he's like the pediatric ophthalmologist in this whole area. And I knew these guys were good, so I think I got something to relax me, a local anesthetic so they could inject the regional block. And they did a regional block like on the top of my head. It wasn't general. And then they proceeded with the surgery. And I noticed I wasn't completely under, you know, when they injected the regional block. I think I slurred out, "Oh, I felt bad." But, you know, it wasn't bad. And then what was really odd was I started to wake up right when they were finishing, and the regional block was still effective, so my eyes were open, but all I could see was gray, which was fascinating. It was a fascinating experience. But, I mean, not long after that, I could see again, and they had the, you know, patches on my eyes. And I was up and around, you know, changing my clothes or going to the bathroom, and my friend was going to take me home. And she walked me up the stairs, and I think I rested for a while with both patches on, and then I could take one patch off, like after a few hours that they had done first. And my eyes were kind of gunky, and they gave me some pain meds for the, you know, discomfort, which was very slight. And so I had one eye open for the rest of that evening, but I had to keep the other patch on overnight. So the next morning I woke up and I took the other patch off, and I had to like kind of clear some of the gunk out of the, you know, my eyes. But when I opened that second eye, I looked at myself in the mirror for the first time directly in my eyes, and it was such an amazing experience that I just cried, because I'd never been able to do that before. And then the next thing I did was I went out on the patio and I looked at the trees, and they were so, so beautiful. It was like a whole new world.
And you could see, like, in depth?
Yes. Leaves on trees are amazing. And, I mean, the gunkiness and the red, I had a little bit of redness and gunkiness for a few days, but no discomfort. And, I mean, the surgery went really well, and the recovery was really easy.
So your story is actually this, when I saw you telling about your success on Facebook, it was really interesting to me because ever since I discovered the whole vision therapy world, I gained the supposed understanding that strabismus surgery is incredibly difficult to, I mean, for cosmesis, I've heard it's not so difficult, but to gain functional vision, you cannot even make a 1% mistake. It has to be perfect. Otherwise, you're not going to get the functional vision. But,
I'm
you know,
glad
it could have been, no, but, it might be, it was so long ago that I read this and I internalized it. I don't even remember the source, and it could have been just some offhand rumor. Who knows? But either way, you like, from hanging out and being a part of the whole vision therapy circles, you get the impression that it's like a negative bias towards surgery, because you hear about these stories of people who have had their lives messed up by it.
Yes, and I had heard people had to have multiple surgeries, and I'm like, that's not for me, especially if my vision could get worse. And I just kind of, like you, I kind of internalized that and figured, well, forget surgery, you know, for a long time. And I don't know if the surgical approaches had improved over those many years or what, or those were rumors that weren't founded. But initially, in my left eye, I can't remember the numbers. I think I was off by, like, it would turn in by 17 diopters, maybe. I can't remember maybe even 30. It was big. It was the amount that it would turn in was big. And at the end of the surgery it was 3. So big improvement. Yeah.
Okay.
Just by
Okay,
adjusting
so
those
that
muscles.
defeats if you gained. Okay, so that kind of defeats the whole theory I had heard a long time ago, because that obviously isn't like a perfect alignment then, right? If it's
Not
3.
perfect. No. Mm-mm. But I mean, it may be
you
within
still gained
the range of perfect. I don't
yeah.
know what they
Yeah,
consider
okay.
perfect.
All right. Yeah. Okay,
Like,
so so then how was life afterwards? Like, was there a big difference? Like,
oh
what do you
yeah.
notice different?
I mean,
Yeah.
I felt like it was a whole new world. I mean, I would go out on the balcony pretty much every day, and I was just so grateful for trees. And looking into people in the eye, meeting new people, you know, I knew they didn't feel weird about looking at me, and, you know, meeting new clients. You know, I just felt like I was a new person. And, you know, for example, right now I'm looking at a lavender rose that my daughter gave me for Valentine's Day, and I can see it in perfect 3D, and it's beautiful. I mean, the beauty of
Nice.
the world stopped being flat and confusing and started being whole and taking shape.
Okay. Wow. So have you read Sue Berry's book, Fixing My Gaze?
I think I did a long time ago. I know I heard her interview on NPR. And I thought, you know, okay, well, maybe I'll try vision therapy again. And I did look into vision therapy after that book came out. But I knew it was incredibly expensive, and I knew, you know, I did some research into it, and I thought, oh, I don't know, you know. And then that's when I did the first consult with the surgeon.
Okay. I asked because your story reminds me of her story, where she talks about the tree. She also talks a lot about trees.
Yeah.
Like the whole, like looking at trees and the space in between
Right.
the branches, I think.
Yeah,
It's been a while
and
since I read it.
leaves. I mean, it's like flatland, you know, when you've got strabismus. I mean, that's the best version of it. It's like flatland, if you'd ever read that book. But the worst thing is the visual confusion. And you can't explain it to someone that hasn't experienced it. You just can't. You know, people say, do you see 2 of things? And you're like, no. But I don't really see you clearly unless I just use one eye and then you're flat. You know? And you're living in this world, you can't really look at things clearly.
Yeah.
And you certainly can't
for
see
me,
them in 3D.
It's also for me like the fatigue and
Oh my God,
inconsistent
yes.
performance.
And I love to read, and it made me tired. I couldn't read more than a few pages, and my eye muscles would just get too tired. And I enjoy reading more.
Driving too. Driving would fatigue me, and eye contact. Like for me, it's not so much of a like, okay, I'm cross-eyed or whatever, you know, like I could handle that. The thing is that for some reason I get fatigued from eye contact. Like it just gets me so tired I can't even handle a few seconds of it. So I have no idea why that is.
And eye contact is so key when you're doing therapy with people that's when I decided to try to fix it. You know, once I realized there was a pretty good chance I would have binocular vision, that my vision would get worse better and not worse. And I'm just so grateful not only to see more beauty in the world, but to be able to make good eye contact with people when it's important in therapy.
Yeah, definitely. And so did you experience a fatigue with eye contact, or you just wouldn't even try to?
I experienced discomfort with eye contact, just emotional discomfort, but I had just totally repressed it. You know, it was somewhere there, and I felt it, but I wasn't really conscious of it because I didn't think I could do anything about it. I just felt kind of like I was different, and I was always different, and I was gonna be different. But yeah, it was very uncomfortable making eye contact with new people. But not physical fatigue, like not really.
Okay, yeah, that's just something that's peculiar to me. I haven't found many people that suffer from what I go through sometimes with that. But still, that makes sense. The whole, of course, when meeting new people is kind of, weird. It's like, I totally understand what you mean. So, and I want to ask another thing. It's been a while since the surgery, and I know that sometimes people experience, especially within the first few months, like, some glitches, like certain things revert a little, like backwards a bit. Like, have your benefits maintained? Like, has there been any changes since the surgery, or has everything stayed the same?
I think everything stayed the same. I mean, I had a follow-up visit like a couple of weeks later, and everything was still good. I haven't noticed things reverting. I've made a conscious effort to use both eyes when possible. So I think that's helped. Like when I'm driving, and it's funny, like whenever I do that, I get like this little burst of gratitude, which kind of reinforces it. But I haven't noticed any deterioration in my binocular vision.
Yeah,
I mean,
not saying that
and
you should
again,
expect it's just a question. Yeah.
I was 51 when I had it, so, I don't know if I'll need another surgery eventually or not. But, for right
Hopefully,
now, it's holding, and it's good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I just had to ask that just because you never, because you never know. I've seen, like, especially within the first few months, but for you it's been already been a few years. So.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Yeah, that's really good.
Okay, so that's especially within the first few months people notice, like their sutures slipping or their alignment slipping.
I'm not an expert, but I've just noticed through interacting with other people that the sample size of my observations is like really limited. It's not.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert at this at all. I'm just saying.
Well, and also with Facebook groups, you get a lot of people who've had problems, which is one of the reasons that I wanted to join the group. Is that I wanted to encourage other people.
Yeah.
I mean, you get awesome. A lot of people who've had.
I wish more people would do that.
Well, I mean, I'm a big believer
in. A lot of people just forget. Like they just like, oh, I'm all good now, and they just like.
I'm good, so I'm going on with my life, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I've had other health conditions too, and I'm a big believer in joining groups and hearing about people's successes to give you hope, and to learn what's worked for people. I mean, I always do that when I have a problem.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm doing here.
And as a social worker, I've facilitated groups, so, yeah.
Wait, what was that?
As a social worker, I've facilitated a lot of groups for cancer, Alzheimer's, kids with parents who died, and on and on. So, I mean, I'm a big believer in the power of groups.
Next up, Stereovision group.
Right. Exactly.
I'm just messing. Okay. So that's pretty much it for. Is there anything that you wanted to add, or like a last message or something?
To people who are struggling with the decision about whether to have surgery, find the best surgeon you can. Investigate their record, and I mean, I had a stellar experience with it. In fact, my surgeon was like, he's getting ready to retire. And the surgery went so well that I brought him flowers, and he said he'd never had a patient bring him flowers before. And so I had my friend take a picture of us together.
Okay.
And it was really sweet. But no, I would like to encourage anybody who who's struggling with this condition to not give up.
Okay, nice. Actually, I would like to add something. For anybody listening to this, make sure you consider your options. If you see a surgeon, make sure to also see a vision therapist, that's part of COVD. I'm going to put some links so you can in the description so you can check those out yourself.